Hi, it's Richard. I haven't posted for a long time, and as with issues relating to anxiety, it's a balance, isn't it, between being when you're well enough to actually talk to somebody and express your feelings and your opinions. Maybe a lot of what you want to talk about is diluted because you can no longer speak at the from the heart, if you like in the moment. And when you are in the moment, it's impossible to actually convey it because you can't really talk to anyone, and you're suffering to a point where it's not really easy to talk. So I thought I would post a video because I've been on a very much an upward curve, and I really would. There's nothing that would give me more pleasure than to start carrying on where I left off, and with the view of producing videos to help give advice, support, guidance, and a lifelong of personal experiences with regard to anxiety. Now, the interesting turn for me personally is since I did my last video and now, I haven't been diagnosed as such with chronic fatigue, but I've realized quite clearly that is getting a diagnosis for anything like this is pretty impossible. But there's no question I've been suffering from chronic fatigue. So I would like to talk to you in the future about chronic fatigue and what it's done, and how to recognize it, how to deal with it, how to move forward from it. There's an awful lot of literature online that would have you believe that chronic fatigue is an incurable disease or incurable illness that is not possible to move beyond, or certainly doesn't give you the feeling that it's possible to move beyond. But that's quite clearly not the case, and I certainly won't allow that to be the case in my case. So I'd love to talk to you all about that. So many resources, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but I've got to accept that it's got to happen in small chunks. I can't just change the world, or I can't express everything that I think is going to help other people in one moment. And that kind of leads me to my next thing, which is the recognition of my ADHD mind, my neuro variation, or neuro, what they call it, neuro, see, this is why I like trying to remember words, my neurodiversity. So, you know, accepting that my neurodiversity, or accepting my variation of neurodiversity, has been another thing that I've been very much learning about. And the reason why I've been able to, at the age of 50 years old, how I've been able to start to understand all of this is through watching my children. And so this has been, you know, I have a daughter now who's 18, a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old. No, he's 13, maybe 14. See, this is stuff I can't remember. I'm not as bad as I look. But 18, 16, and I think he is now 14. He's going to be 14 in December. He's just turned 14, and my eldest daughter is going to be 18 in December. So there you go. That reminds me of a story. Once I was at an airport, and the lady at the airport, I was with the kids, and for security she asked me their date of birth. Now, why she felt the need to ask me their date of birth and why she thought she needed to ask me this, I don't know. Maybe there's something the way I look. But I looked at her the second she said to me, what are their dates of birth? I was like, how could you do this to me? You must have some other question you can ask me. And it's not because I don't know their date of birth. I'm not even going to start to talk to you about it right now, but I won't be able to bring it up and pop it out and tell you right now, because there's something about the anxiety it creates inside me. And I believe this is another little aspect of this neurodiversity. I've always just called it my little thing. I've always called it a form of anxiety that, you know, bringing up something that needs to be said at that moment in time for someone else, the pressure of bringing up this fact. Normally it's names. I'm absolutely horrendous at introducing people, and the thought of introducing someone, well, it's apparently it's all part of my little neurodiverse mindset. And so I've been learning an awful lot, and I've been able to recognize and make so much more direction with it by recognizing it in my children and realizing, hang on, you know, this is, a lot of this can be passed on, and it's helping me a lot. I'm not going to ramble on, but I'm going to say this. This may even be the sort of the point of the video. Apart from telling you I'm going to do more videos, and I'm going to start really trying to do a bit more consistent, little and often. That's the idea. It really helps just chatting to someone through this little lens, and if I can help someone, then that's amazing. But what I wanted to I don't remember what. No, there is a reason. Yes. About 10 years ago, because I'm 50 now, and when I was 40, sadly I was having what I would have described at the time as a nervous breakdown, and the lady said to me, I can either help you, because I brought up ADHD, so this is 10 years ago, and I brought up ADHD, and I must have read something that made me think, is ADHD something, could this be linked? And she understandably said to me, look, I can either spend time helping you label yourself, or I can give you tools which will help you manage and be accepting of who you are. And that was all well and good, and I totally understand the reason why she said it. But the fact that we didn't go down that little rabbit hole, and the fact we didn't explore this whole concept of neurodiversity and different minds, different brains work in different ways, which of course I know all about, or to some degree now, I was still left with the feeling that everything that I'm feeling is born from anxiety. Like, I have an anxiety issue, and why, and like trying to work it all out. And had I known 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago or more that this ADHD was a thing, and the fact that it's never been brought up is just unbelievable. The fact that all the years I've been going into doctor's surgeries with all my various ailments and anxiety related issues, that nobody has at any stage said, here's some literature on ADHD, here's some literature. And okay, so why do I think it's so important? Because understanding how your mind works and understanding the characteristic of your mindset really helps you come up with ways of living with it and dealing with it. And so I'm gonna just do a little bit more. Here's the reason why. I'll prove to you exactly why. If you have ADHD, you have a difficulty, or very often you may have a difficulty with structuring plans and structuring what you're going to do next and when you're going to do it. And if you have made those plans to do these things, very often you could get diverted, like I'm doing in this video. I'm going down a path and there's another path, oh, there's another path, and before you know it, you've distracted yourself to the point where you can't remember what path you were going down. Just like, this is a great example in this video, how it's all moving on. But I'm kind of sticking to a theme, but it's kind of going everywhere. If you watch any video I've ever done, like on my guitar channel, you will see it's all like that. But there's some sense, there's some method in the madness, if you like. And I've done it again. So let me tell you, bring myself back. Okay, why is it important to know about the ADHD mind? Because you have difficulties in placing things in the right place and following the path and conforming and transitioning through that nice clear path. That in its own right creates anxieties, because you then know that there was something you should have done that you've not done. Okay? So if you're not even getting to the point of doing basic coping mechanisms, like very basic, easy to follow plans, I would say, breaking things down into just, if you have the primary goal for the day, what is the absolute primary, the one thing that just cannot not be done? Then maybe a couple of other things around that you would like. Give yourself realistic targets and expectations. That is, I'm not telling you this is the plan, this is the idea. I'm saying Once you know you have a mindset that works a very specific way, and you're said, look, you're told this is kind of your brain pattern, this is how it works, you can start working on tools that help you manage your thoughts, manage your direction, and that in its own right starts to bring down anxiety, because people with ADHD are prone, absolutely prone to anxiety. And sadly, if you have anxiety, you're more likely to lead to depression, and if you have depression, you're more likely to lead to drug addiction or alcohol misuse, or ways to ADHD. Did you know that ADHD gives you less dopamine in your system? So you're kind of reaching all the time, your body's reaching for dopamine release. Well, you can get that dopamine release just from having 10 press-ups or 10 minutes of walking. But unless you know this, you can't help yourself. And then that's why people end up at the doctor's surgery with anti-anxiety tablets, which I say all they do, but they're basically kind of suppressing the brain and taking some of the they're removing some of that heightened tension that you may feel. And that might be right for some people at the right moment in the right time, but if we know that there are lots of very natural, very normal day-to-day things that you can do, which is what I'm going to talk to you about in the future, surely that's what we should all be knowing. That's what everybody should be knowing. And it's really sad that I'm a living day example of a 50-year-old man who's never been diagnosed with ADHD, struggled with school, struggled with self-worth, images, low self-esteem, totally devalued myself because I was always the stupid one. But clearly, there are things in my life that I've achieved greatly, I feel. Things I'm very, very proud to have done and proud to have been part of, and my business and my family and my whole mindset, my whole life. I'm proud of everything that I do and I'm doing. But I've always struggled with a sense of devaluing myself and a low self-esteem because of how I was made to feel going through the entire school process, which is something else I'll talk to you about as well in the future. Education system, there's so much, it's a whole world. But I said I wasn't going to talk about it all in one video, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop. I've done a video, I've achieved it, it's been a few months, but I've done another one. And please do subscribe if you want to know about all of the coping mechanisms. I'm going to be talking about the brain and neurodiversity. I'm going to be talking about the ADHD. I've got a guy coming to see me a week Tuesday. So today is Sunday. So a week Tuesday, he's coming to see my children. He's doing a family visit. Seriously, it's a family ADHD stroke autism assessment day. So, you go over there, you go over there. So it'll be fun and games. I'm looking forward to it. And if he tells me I haven't got ADHD, I'll kill him, because I'm actually kind of excited about my self-prognosis. Okay, diagnosis. Scrub the dog prognosis. I'm excited about my diagnosis. Okay, see you soon. I hope that wasn't too painful. See you later. Bye-bye.